Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to today's webcast, Boost Customer Satisfaction and Field Efficiency with Mobile Apps, brought to you by SAP and Sodales Solutions. Before we begin, we wanted to make a few announcements. If you have any questions during the webcast, you can click on the Q&A widget at the bottom and submit your question. We will answer these during the Q&A session, but if a fuller answer is needed or we run out of time, it will be answered later via email. An on-demand version of the webcast will be available approximately 1 day after the webcast and can be accessed using the same audience link that was sent to you earlier. If you are experiencing any technical difficulties, please visit our webcast help guide by clicking on the help button below the presentation window or submit your question via the Q&A widget. So now I would like to hand over to Scott Harrison, Senior Director, Americas ISVs, SAP Global Partner Operations. So please go ahead, Scott.
Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for joining this webinar and taking time out of your day to listen to Sodales, who is one of the ISV partners in our program. Before I introduce Sana Salam, who is the founder and CEO of Sodales, I'd like to just frame a little bit about our program and ISVs who are building on the HANA Cloud application platform. Our business unit has been in existence for about 4 years now. SAP recognized a clear requirement for companies to take advantage of cloud solutions. And customers more and more are taking advantage of easy-to-consume cloud solutions that they can leverage both by SAP and even more so by partners. HANA Cloud Platform has become a clear strategic advantage for SAP and its customers. And it's not only a development platform for partners to build cloud solutions, it's also a platform to extend solutions as well. And this extensibility strategy and cloud platform solution that partners can take advantage of are enabling customers to get the best solutions in the marketplace today, both from a cloud perspective and when required on-premise as well. Just as context, we have about 1,000 partners globally in our program. These are partners who have developed the solution and offer it in the marketplace. Some of the partners really take advantage of HANA Cloud Platform, and Sodales is one of them. They have created 32 applications on the HANA Cloud Platform, and they've published those applications into SAP's HANA Cloud Platform marketplace. I know that Sana will talk about her program and her company, but it's a great story. She's been in existence for just over 2 years, came into the ecosystem as a new partner and a startup, really, and has done an incredible job with customers. One of the unique things we like about Sodales and Sana is their unique ability to take advantage of design thinking, working with customers to give them the best solutions. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Sana Sodales, founder and CEO of Sodales. Sana, you have it from here.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sana Salam, and I'm right now in Toronto. It's a beautiful day, and I'm looking forward to a great session today. So thank you. What we wanted to do today was just first give you a little bit of background about Sodales Solutions and myself. So I actually come from a background of working on very large, complex IT projects, which used to be in trouble, and I was a turnaround project manager on those. And that is what motivated me to create Sodales and to create simple solutions and simple packaged applications that can solve those business problems. And that was the main reason we partnered with SAP in the Partner Edge program and started to leverage HANA Cloud Platform and other platforms that are available by SAP. So a little bit of introduction about our firm is that we are a certified SAP mobile app partner. We're also a certified SAP Fiori partner. We are actually the first one to certify a Fiori app. We are also certified in design thinking, and I'll talk more about it in the later slides of how we leverage that into solving complexity and along with HANA Cloud Platform. And we also provide this coaching at SAP Co-Innovation Lab. Our team is spread out across Germany, Canada, and India. And one of the major area that we capture really well with working with customers is the cross-platform and device-agnostic applications, because we find that to be one of the major reasons for complexity in IT or complexity in solutions. We leverage a lot of SAP and non-SAP integrations, and that's where we find HANA Cloud Platform to be very, very effective. And we also focus a lot on user experience and design. A little bit about our global customer references. Our customer references are across industries, so it could be manufacturing, energy, solar energy, automotive, and healthcare, but also they're across the globe, and that just shows the diversity of our portfolio, but also shows how customers are perceiving new technologies and new innovations that are being pushed by SAP and SAP's ecosystem. So what we wanted to do today was I thought it would be a good idea to first provide you an overview of what do we mean by packaged apps, because we've been hearing about it very much recently. And most of us who come from IT background are used to working on large, complex projects, and we have this image in our mind. But now we're all talking about simplicity and packaged apps. And what is it about? So I'm going to talk about that a little bit to give you some breakdown on that. And then how we can use design thinking, innovation framework, and Fiori guidelines combined with HANA Cloud Platform to actually address some of the most complex industry use cases. And I've provided some of the benefits of those, such as customer service improvement and field efficiency. And then I'll also show you some of our customer case studies and reference case studies to provide an overview of what other customers are doing in the industry. And then in the end, I have something very interesting for you is an enablement roadmap, which is a very simple roadmap to actually get where you want to be from where you are today. So that's kind of the overview of what we're going to cover today. But in the end, you'll have the chance to ask questions. So if you have any particular questions that I didn't cover, please feel free to ask me. Okay, great. So let me just first talk about packaged apps. So I personally was not aware of this concept very well because of my own background on working on big projects. So it wasn't until I actually experienced it and went through it myself that I realized what other people are also missing. So I would like to actually go over that with you. So in the past, when we would build applications, say, for example, a mobile app or any app is basically a package of software which is designed for business. So in the past, when we would do that, we would prepare, we would do a lot of assessment on IT landscape. We would then design it. We would have to hire designers to look at the design and do all the requirement gathering, and then we would develop it. It would take a few more months, test it, and then go live. So that was our life cycle of software. But recently, because IT is becoming more agile and everyone is catching up with the marketplace, with the fast, changing marketplace, almost like a fashion industry, we now are focusing more and more on packaged apps. And they basically give you a jump start. They make you more leading edge. They make IT better serve the business and satisfy their needs instantly. So what you get in packaged apps, especially when they're deployed on premise, is you still are spending time in discovery to find out what are your top use cases. Yet there is time that is spent in preparation, preparing your landscape. So, for example, if you buy a packaged app which is ready-made and ready to deploy, still have to prepare your in-house landscape to meet all the prerequisites of that app, and that can take some time, and sometimes it requires CapEx as well and allocation of your bases or IT resources. But then where you're saving time is when you're customizing this app and then testing and running it according to your branding and your specific requirements. So overall, we see a lot of savings even in this buy and tailor approach on on-premise packaged applications. And, in some cases, it's a savings up to 75% in development costs and even in design, because the app is specified for a specific use case. In design phase, you're saving about 95% of cost, because somebody who's put all these package apps together has already thought through all those nuances and problems which are specific to that business. So this is a very important concept to understand, that why package apps are so much more important than building brand new apps from scratch. So now when we talk about package apps in the cloud, there is an additional benefit. We take it to one level above. And why I personally prefer this option, and it was something we tried or experimented ourselves with just right before Sapphire, and we were very amazed with the results. And here are a couple of things that were very encouraging and surprisingly encouraging were when we work with customers in the past, even for package apps, they were spending a lot of time in preparing internally and assessing things. And sometimes they would have to give up on innovating because it was just too much work to arrange for that CapEx or to prepare their landscapes. But when we talk about deploying package apps in the cloud, we have a lot of leverage. We bypass most of the preparation time. In fact, you can deploy an app within hours. We bypass a lot of discovery, time and effort, because a lot of the technical discovery part is already covered in your package app if it's delivered in the cloud. Your preparation time is minimum, and your customization is much more easier, because I'm specifically referring to HANA Cloud Platform. My favorite parts of HANA Cloud Platform are some of the customization tools that it offers. Because in the past, I used to think that it was just a platform where we can outsource or virtualize our applications, but that's not true. It's actually much more than that. It actually gives you a lot of tools that can be used by super users so that you can maintain and customize your apps. So when we experienced that, we actually worked with a lot of young college graduates, and they were able to build and deploy packaged apps in the cloud very, very quickly as well. So this is something that I would really like to highlight and emphasize before we even talk about HANA Cloud Platform or package apps in our next slides. But these two concepts are very key for you to see what you would be saving if you were to deploy package apps in the cloud. Okay, so here is another thing I think which is very, very important is that everyone talks about game-changing apps, and they talk about innovation, and then they talk about creating mobility roadmaps. But as much as people are talking about it, there were not a lot of good frameworks out there for normal people who are not even tech savvy to adopt and then to apply and actually do these things. In the past, you would actually need a very specialized skilled person who would spend a lot of time on design, would create a lot of libraries and codes to, design an app, and then, maintain it. And then, there was not a very good framework out there to focus on the enterprise app simplification. So what a couple of things that have changed in the past years is really formalizing some of the frameworks that have come out in the enterprise world, and especially because they're targeted and tailored towards SAP applications. These three frameworks that I'm going to talk about are extremely important for any business, any customer to understand. And I can promise you that this is something that your super users can understand. You don't need to hire a lot of technical, external, special help to do that. So the first one is design thinking, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that and why you would need it. The second one is Fiori design principles, or Fiori UX. And the third one is HANA Cloud Platform. So let's now just dive into these three components that are very important for you to understand before you can go into an app journey. And then I'm going to go over some of the use cases that I've got from field service and field workforce, and then customer examples of this as well. So let's talk about these ingredients one by one. The first one is design thinking. So when we work with customers, we know that they're very ambitious and they want to adopt mobility, and they have heard of app. Everybody has heard of app. But it's in the beginning, everybody feels a bit lost because although there are so many platforms and so many options out there, it's so hard to figure out what's your starting point. And it's so hard to figure out which apps are viable and feasible for your business, because you might have some budget constraints. You might have some more strategic goals in your business which are more higher priority and can actually lead better results. You might really like an app and can think that it can impact a lot of people in your company, but that might not bring a lot of business value to you. And so by the time you go to your senior executives to get a budget approval, it might just get shut down. And so the first and the most important step is, what is your big picture? And how is that big picture, and how is this technology going to solve your specific problems? To understand that, there is a framework called design thinking. And many people have an impression of design thinking that it's something where you just draw a lot of pictures and it's something that's only for artists, and that's not true. It's actually a very enterprise-oriented tool. And the framework over time has evolved a lot, and it has a lot of tools now for a lot of things that you can do to conceptualize and to create your roadmap for your mobility or app use cases. So when we hear about HANA Cloud Platform, or when we hear about mobile platform, or any new innovation, first thing is, how do we get started, and how does this impact my business? So this is where design thinking can really help you. It has one of the tools that's called Journey Map, and this tool allows you to study your current process, current mega process, with all the touch points, with all the stakeholders and current systems in a very fast fashion. It's actually just a few hours exercise, and it also uses a brainstorming approach, so you can use, you can bring in ideas from your own team, and basically, because the business users are co-creating those ideas, it results in a better result. And then it utilizes diversity, so diversity of input is extremely important. If you remember, in the past we used to do blueprints in projects, and they were just very silo and linear. But design thinking is not that way. So, and what it does is it actually allows you to check on each idea's feasibility very, very quickly during, while you're conducting design thinking, which means that if you want to buy a packaged app, or if you want to deploy an app in a HANA Cloud Platform, you would actually know how feasible and viable it is for you in a very, very fast fashion while doing the design thinking. So the other thing that it does is it allows you to create your future vision in a very cheap manner. So it's not like you have to spend a lot of time and a lot of money to figure out what your app would look like. It actually has tools that can help you do that. And then in the end, you create prototypes which are inexpensive. And in the end, there are some tools that can allow you to create business value and effort roadmaps. So it's almost like a graph and chart. And where you can figure out which apps are top use cases for your business, and how are they low effort, are they high effort, and also the ROI analysis related to that. There are tools and ways available in design thinking framework that allow you to create that. And this is an exercise that we do with our customers before we even start to look at any app journey. And often, within 2 days or sometimes one day exercise, we're able to come up with their entire roadmap, and as well as the prototypes of the apps. And that itself sometimes becomes a reason for them to go and get budget approval or funding approval for adopting that particular platform or adopting that particular app in their business. So this is an extremely important thing for IT users, especially who are trying to engage with their business teams, as well as it's very important for the IT users to get budget approval for their executives to show this. So if you apply this framework, you have cut down your discovery, business case, and prototyping very, very fast. So the other thing is that the other framework that you need to learn or adopt is the Fiori guidelines. So Fiori guidelines is something that allow anybody who may not be a designer to understand how to simplify the front-end user experience of the application, because Fiori apps are role-based and they're not like functional modules like we used to have in ERP. And this then results into a very great and tremendous cut down in your timeline and your effort for app design and app customization. So that's very, very important. And the other important aspect of Fiori guidelines combined with design thinking is the fact that because it's role-based, in design thinking we have something called persona, which is a user group. So when we work with customers, we bring in different stakeholders from different groups, and they work together in teams and hands-on approach to create their future app designs. And each app is targeted for one persona. So I'm actually going to show you some of the apps today which are targeted for a very specific persona, because each person who is using that application has a very specific need, and that would result in the least number of clicks. So we have to make sure we're not just mobilizing applications, we're also creating the right user experience. So this second tool is extremely important for you to learn to make sure your user experience and process simplification is in place. So the third one is HANA Cloud Platform. So this is an extremely important aspect, is that, as I said, that if you were to start deploying or buying apps and try to deploy them in on-premise, you still are spending a lot of time in preparation and preparing your landscape. So the other issue is that if you've heard about Fiori or if you've heard about these web-based apps, to make them work offline and to make them work with push notification and a lot of social media integration and other security and admin tools, HANA Cloud Platform simplifies all of that. And one example for this is that in the past, we used to, when we were working with customers, we used to hire a very special developer who's expensive to build all the backend integration. But with HCP, it has a component of mobile services, which actually simplifies the enablement of offline functions and mobile and the integration part in a very simple, clickable format, which can be learned by users who may not have that kind of technical background. So it makes it simple and faster, which means you can now do more apps and faster. The other aspect of HANA Cloud Platform, which is extremely important, is that customers get really nervous when they think about apps of how they're going to maintain it. Because even though apps are making the lives of end users happier and easier, they're sometimes causing more headache for the IT because they require them to now maintain and change as the business changes. And we know every business is changing these days because how the world is operating. So one of the lovely component of HANA Cloud Platform is the fact that it has some build tools integrated in it, which are very inexpensive. And one of my favorite tool is WebIDE. And if you have deployed your app in the cloud or even on premise, you can use this tool, and it allows you to use drag and drop templates and very easy and simple clickable check marks to now make changes in your app, add new fields, change some, tables or, look and feel. You can do all of that using this tool. And this is, again, a tool that when we work with customers, we've trained their business users on utilizing this tool to maintain the apps. So now this can really make the extensibility and integration also very, very simple, because it also gives you an option to do mock data testing on your app. So for example, if you're purchasing an app which is available in HANA Cloud Platform, and you want to now test it out using mock data, it's actually much easier. If you're making changes in it, customizing it, WebID tool makes it very, very easy. So HANA Cloud Platform is not just for cloud. It has a lot of tools embedded in it, and you can use those different tools to make your entire life cycle easier and simpler. So I think the first most important message for you is to learn these three frameworks if you want to be successful with your mobile journey. Okay. So what I would like to do now is to explain that what we did at Sodales is we looked at some of the top industry use cases, which are very, very common and can impact a lot of people, which means they can have they impact a lot of users, but they also have a business value in terms of they can impact your customer service experience. They can also impact your field efficiency or how your management and your back office staff interacts with your field. So because these apps have a very high business value, we wanted to see how we can create these apps at a lower effort and low cost. And that's where we utilize those three frameworks that I just described. I'm gonna talk about these top three industry use cases which are applicable for field users, such as front office and back office, customer support groups, technicians, managers, and even sometimes CFO looking at the information. So the first one is in utility and engineering companies, energy companies. And when we talk about energy companies, I'm also now talking about alternative energy companies, and because this is something where we actually did it for a company who is solar energy company. And what they're doing is that they have engineers or technicians who go out on the field, and they have to make sure that they are fixing any suspected incidents and capturing them in real time, and also capturing the corrective actions very, very quickly and in real time. So these could be operational breakdowns, environmental incidents, fire, injury. And it's so important for the compliance of these companies that they need to report their plant reliability, and they need to make sure that they're able to see which plants are in losses or which plants are in trouble, and capture all the costs associated with fixing those problems. So this is a very common scenario that actually I'm going to demo to you very shortly. And so this is a common scenario in energy companies. The other one is in engineering and mining, industrial, and especially manufacturing industry, is that nations are dispatched regularly for corrective actions or preventative maintenance. So either they have a scheduled visit with the customer or a site or a plant, or they have been notified by customer service or customer support group that you need to go and fix this problem for this customer. And today, believe it or not, many companies are still using paper and pen. Their technicians take ride in a van or a plane, and they have all this equipment with them, and they go on a site and they work with the customer, and sometimes there's a lot of problem caused because of not having coordination done in real time, like warranty checks, like ordering parts, and having visibility into their main warehouse, capturing all the tasks that they're doing at the customer site or at the plant in real time, and getting the customer to agree with it so that they can bill them for accountability. All these things need to happen very, very effectively and with clear trace and visibility. And sometimes they're walking around with manuals with them, and so it is extremely important to manage all these tickets and service orders correctly. To also have reviews in place, so then you also have now your management involved. So all of this is part of a second group of apps that I'm going to show you, which is related to service and order management. And we have actually already deployed these apps with some of our customers, and it created really good results. The third one is meter readers and workers, road workers who need to engage with back office staff to consistently prioritize their work. And in some cases, they need to submit their timesheet and their material and whatever they're consuming in real time for approval. And all of this is collaboration, and sometimes they need to submit attachments and checklists, and they need to submit pictures. All of that is also captured in it. So I'll show you a demo very shortly. Let me just first give you a background of the apps themselves. Okay. This is one of the most deployed app, which we have built actually over time, and recently transferred it to HANA Cloud Platform and productized it. The reason it was built over time because it was actually a really big mega process of the entire service and order management. And recently we've also added now dashboards into this. So this is a process that can sometimes be enabled using your CRM system or your ERP system. But if you have a non-SAP backend, it can also work because we have prepared this app using open data standards. But we also have pre-configured integration packages for backends for SAP. And basically, that set of apps evolved over time because we work with customers and their diverse groups, such as managers, back office, front office staff, to do the entire design thinking on their mega process, and broke down the entire mega process into small chunks and small apps, which each of the app itself is deployable and can make a really, really important impact. So, for example, some customers just use the create service tickets app, and some customers do the create service tickets and work order approval app, both of them. And then one customer who actually integrated their reporting system with this so that they could see a dashboard of their ticket services and profit and loss of how their customers were doing, and how much money they're making on these customers. They have all these warranty issues as well. So this app also has a lot of offline functionality. Before HANA Cloud Platform, we deployed this app using native functions, and it was a bit complex to enable all the offline functions, but with HCP, it's almost no customization to enable all the offline functions. If it's a healthcare or sometimes manufacturing type of industry, they usually have good internet all the time, but if it's more of a company which is in power generation or more remote plant-oriented or oil and gas industry, they might not have internet all the time, so they would need an offline function. So I'm going to show you a demo of this app shortly. The other app that we are really proud of is the inventory management app, and this is more for the advanced management of your tickets or your service management. And basically, this is where a technician is on the site, and now he needs to quickly add parts, add material, add parts, or add more service labor, and submit this, because as he comes on site and works with the customer, he finds out that there's more things to add to these current service notification to actually before they can convert it into an order. So inventory management actually needs to be mobilized in that case, and it requires a lot of back end and back office collaboration activity as well. So This is a very simple app and uses Fiori guidelines and works with MM and PM, and we have 2 customers now who are using this. Another application which is very important is most of the customers today even are using Adobe Forms to, and there are sometimes paper forms, and sometimes it's extremely hard to manage all these different technologies. So what they are now moving towards now is having one simple way of managing all of their incidents, whether on the field or when they're in the office for capturing data. So there's a similar user experience. And this is where you have a lot of plant reliability, safety, and compliance that need to be considered. So, and I think I talked about this use case earlier as well. I'm going to now show you a demo. Just give me a minute so that I can just set up. I'm going to do my screen share. So, Mihaela, please let me know when you see my screen, okay?
I will tell you that.
I'm going to actually, I will first start with an overall application. So, I'm sharing my screen now.
I can see your screen just fine, Sana.
Okay, thank you. Great. So if you see this home screen, so we have this tile-based concept, right, which is what I call as Fiori guidelines. Why we have that is because if you design an app, you don't want people to keep clicking, and then they're lost within that app. So you have to break down your entire process into smaller pieces of information, bite-sized tasks, so that also not only you're avoiding training costs on your app, but also you are simplifying all the disconnect and targeting it to certain users, because some users might not need all of these apps, but some might need all of them. So it's persona-based approach using design thinking. So here is one of the app is creating the service notification, which I talked about earlier, where you actually need to see, you want to be able to capture when you're at the customer side, what is the notification about or service order ticket about, what is its priority, if it's a damage code or what is the date of malfunction. You want to be able to add pictures by browsing or by taking a picture from the camera. We've also integrated scanner option in this, and also a camera function using native functionalities in this app. So you can also create, let me just use this a little bit. You can also create the applications using similar notification. You could have, creating tickets with reference to other tickets. So this app was really well appreciated by our customers because they wanted to simplify their process for their end users. Another application which is very popular for our customers is preparing the work orders. So once the service notification is reviewed and it is, it's created and using a very simple method, you now need to convert it into work order. You need approval, and the data from service notification has to all transfer to work orders. So you can see you can now sort it by priorities, safety, and some key aspects of the notification. It would tell you some key fields which you can later use for reporting and your dashboards. The picture that you had captured at the time of creating the notification is also there. Most important, what parts are needed to be added is also added to this service and work order application. So if you look at ERP or SARM, this is actually a really cumbersome part because it has a lot of tabs and a lot of information, and users don't actually end up using that because it's very difficult for them to access this, while they're on the field, or even understand it in a simple fashion. So this is one of the set of applications which we have for field users, which actually has a big impact your customer support and customer service as well. The other one is, and I wanted to show you is, maybe this one. I talked about inventory management. So inventory management, as I said, when you're on the site, you might be needing to look at your stock. You might need to issue an PO. You might need to, if there could be, this is, you might be adding parts, but other than that, you might even have in your entire warehouse management, your inventory count, your goods issue, all of these aspects of the entire inventory management cycle are now broken down into simplified functional processes using design thinking and Fiori guidelines. So this is another set of apps that our customers really, really like, and it makes their life simpler. The other one is that I talked about is for compliance and safety, and this app is integrated with Adobe Forms as well. So in case customer has Adobe Forms and workflow, this Fiori app can work with that. This app is also available on HANA Cloud Platform and also available to be deployed on-premise. So here's an example where you might be capturing data for your incident that is taking place on a customer on a plant site. You might need to add parts or activity types, and some you might need to nominate somebody to investigate it further and then submit this in real time so that another technician or an area manager can come in and look at it. There's a lot of space for comments. There's a lot of space for capturing time and material data. This is an extremely important part of plant safety because this kind of data is needed at the end of the year or quarterly to make sure plants are regulated. This application is also very easy to simple to maintain. So if you have different forms or different things that you maintain, we can enable this. So all of these applications that I just talked about, I'm going to just show you one last one actually, and that is on time and material entry. Oh, it opens. Okay, so one last one that I wanted to show you was on the time and material entry, and that is to capture the time that is spent while technicians are working on the field. So you could have the description, certain activities that are being done, and according to that, you could be capturing what kind of activity is being done there, or if you're entering material and then confirm it. So this is very important to bring accountability with the customer and provide them a service history report so that, when you're sending them a bill for what they had done, they're not screaming at you that, you didn't do this or you didn't do that or the time is not captured correctly. So this is a very important application that customers really like. So I'm going to actually stop the screen share now and go back to the presentation. Okay. I'm going to show you some of the customer examples of customers who are applying these apps or deploying these apps. And how it's benefiting them, and with the kind of frameworks that they have used to actually apply this. Okay, so you can see that my offering. Okay, so here is one story. This is one of our customers, very large customer and a global customer, and it's a huge global electronics manufacturing company, and they've deployed some of these supply chain apps, and they're seeing almost 60% of productivity improvement in their employees and target users. And what they used, of course, was design thinking, Fiori guidelines, and now they're considering to now take these apps into next level, which is going to be on the HANA Cloud side. The other aspect that I wanted to show was another customer who actually had different user experience for their customers, for their engineers, and therefore in-house teams, resulting in a lot of communication gaps. So using Fiori guidelines, using design thinking, they were able to simplify the entire service process for their field users and create not only one user experience, but see a lot of productivity gains. So this is a new go live. So we've only mentioned the training cost gains, but as they go through more months, we'll be able to capture the productivity gains as well. Here's one more reference that I want to show you is with our customer AAA, where we work with them to improve the customer service for one of their business segments. And as I said, we work with customers using design thinking to simplify their processes and to create their IT roadmap. And this is one of the methodology that we also apply to enable HANA Cloud Platform use cases. And this customer is also one of the great examples of that, who saw a lot of benefit in design thinking. I want to also now show you the enablement roadmap. So when we talk about apps or innovation, always remember to dream really big, but start really small, and then act really, really fast. And I'll tell you why we say that. Dreaming big would allow you to have your big picture and align your app use cases according to the business goals and the business key stakeholders who care about it. And that would make you very, very successful in getting not only the buy-in, but also getting people to use those apps to adopt them as well. The other part is starting small. Starting small is extremely important because as you're going through your mobility journey, you need to show success very, very quickly so that you can get budgets and approvals for your next set of apps. So if you spend a lot of time in your first set of applications, you will lose your business users because they will start losing interest. So very important part is to starting small and acting really fast, and that's where we recommend HANA Cloud Platform because you won't be stressing out about all this preparation activities. So we have two important areas where we see customers adopting apps. One is customers who are already using ERP or systems, and they're just sustaining it now. And now they are looking to get it to the next level. So what we come in and do is like a one-day design thinking session, create their entire roadmap, and then recommend how cloud deployment can help them. But if they prefer, for some reason, that they already have an on-premise landscape, it's already there, then in that case, they can utilize that if that is something very crucial for them. But if they don't have that on-premise landscape, they need to be prepared that they will need to prepare for it. So the other part is customers who are going through implementations and upgrades and migrations. Apps are extremely important for you because to get the ROI on that IT investment that you're making, apps are important. And also it will avoid a lot of training costs. Like I gave you the SageNet example. This was a company who was going through a new company acquisition, and they were going through a migration, and they needed to make sure that the change management was very smooth, and apps helped them do that. And then, of course, enhancing productivity gains. Like I gave you an example of the customer who is a global manufacturer is a good example. So in this case as well, our recommended approach is design thinking and cloud deployment. And the reason is that design thinking, of course, would give you the big picture and how you could use a high value and low effort use case. But cloud deployment would help you to have lesser burden on your IT resources, because imagine all those IT resources are already burdened with that new implementation and upgrade and migration, and now you can't burden them more. But now, adopting this new, maybe you need a landscape setup or new additional preparation activities for your apps. So package apps along with cloud deployment, our recommended approach. But if you want to stick with on-premise, in this case, you have to be prepared to allocate more resources during your implementation or upgrade to adopt the mobility piece. So this is kind of our version of guiding our customers, and we have a framework for each of this. So here's what, one of the call to action that I would like to provide to you as a complimentary offer is that I would love to meet with you on one-on-one in a complimentary workshop where we can discuss how we can discover those use cases for you. We can walk you through the framework that can allow you to dream big and have a big picture using design thinking, and also provide you best practices for Fiori mobilization, because mobilization is a very specific topic, especially when it comes to HANA Cloud Platform mobile services. And then also what would be the right deployment models for your particular situation and why, especially the reasons behind it, the logic behind it, so that you're more educated and prepared to speak with your management or to align internal resources. So, and the other thing is that all the time, because they're also coaches, our company also acts as a coach in SAP Co-Innovation Lab. We work with customers and even partners to co-deliver the application. So some of our customers design the first app with us, and then after that, we start coaching their own internal teams. We teach them these frameworks, and they create the next set of apps under our advisory. And then over time, they become very agile and very self-sustained. But if you are using deployed packaged apps, just like what we are recommending, the customization of those apps is also a teachable skill, so we can work with you on that as well. So we have all these options of how we can work with you to get started. So I would definitely encourage you to take advantage of this complimentary offer. With that, I think we can conclude the end of this presentation. I would love to take any questions and hand it back to Mihaela.
Thank you very much for this interesting presentation, Sana. We already received several questions from the audience, so I will read those out loud and then you can answer them. The first question would be, what approach do you recommend for customers who have not embraced mobility yet? What should be the starting point for them?
Definitely, if they have not done it or embraced mobility yet, the first thing is that they need to prove themselves to their management, and their business users, and because there's a lot of ambiguity. So I would first recommend them to apply the design thinking framework, create a roadmap. It's a one-day effort. It's a learnable skill. And then once they have created a roadmap, they have an ROI use case, and then they have the confidence of what apps they need to deploy. And then, of course, we can look at the deployment models for that as well.
Okay, thank you. So another question would be, what kind of skills are required to maintain and extend these apps?
Very good question. So the skills that are required, like if you want to be an expert, of course, some of the skills require knowing UI5 knowledge. And if you don't know UI5, HTML5 knowledge, the other skill that is required if you need to have business process knowledge, very, very important. And for the backend integration, if you have an ABAP background, then OData is or managing mobile services is a learnable skill. So prerequisite is if you have users in your team who are ABAP and HTML5 savvy, everything else with these frameworks is learnable. There's tons of materials and there's enablement tools out there.
Okay, thank you. So the next question, is the HANA Cloud Platform required for the implementation, and what is the recommended strategy for customers who want to deploy these apps on-premise?
HANA Cloud Platform is not required for the package apps that we are providing, but we recommend it, as I said, to really bypass all the preparation time. Again, it goes back to the vision, dream big, start small, act fast. If you want to act fast, that's what you need. But if you're doing on-premise, there are build tools available in HANA Cloud Platform, which we must take advantage of, which is one of them is WebID, so that you can learn how to maintain your apps because that tool, even though it's in the cloud, actually works with on-premise deployments as well and allows you to maintain your apps and change them very easily and quickly with very minimum skills. So that's what we would recommend.
Okay, thank you. So I would say one last question because we're getting to the top of the hour. Is it easy to extend these packaged apps to other SAP products like Business Objects or Lumeria, and for example, for creating service ticket dashboards?
We're actually doing it for one of our customers where we have similar applications, and now we are bringing in Lumeria, MobJ, Webby tools, all of it under one umbrella because different types of users have different paths to the kind of level of reporting they want to see. And this is extremely easy to do with these apps because they are built with open standards and they have pre-configured integration available. So we are able to do that very, very easily and quickly.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, as I just said, unfortunately the time for the webinar is over. We will send you a follow-up email with a link to the recording so you can rewatch the webcast anytime you want. So thank you for attending today's webcast, Boost Customer Satisfaction and Field Efficiency with Mobile Apps, brought to you by SAP and Sodales Solutions. Have a great day or evening.
Thank you.